Boruto to Vortex Chapter 7 spoilers are out, and this is actually a really interesting chapter, mainly because of the various things Boruto says throughout this chapter. And what really stands out to me is how much better Boruto's talk no jutsu is with Mitsuki and Shikamaru compared to Code. It's night and day difference. I don't know what the heck he was doing with Code, but anyway. The chapter starts off with Mitsuki thinking about the whole sun and moon concept before he begins his fight with Boruto. Now, as for the actual fight itself, it doesn't really last for all that long, much like the Code one. However, I will say that if I do have to compare Mitsuki's fight with Boruto to Code's fight with Boruto, I personally do think Mitsuki did a little bit better. Not that he did amazing, because Boruto handled both of them pretty darn quickly, but I think Mitsuki did a little bit better. He seemed to put up a little bit more of a fight than Code did, not that that's overly important. But something interesting to note is that Mitsuki says he understands how strong Boruto is based on the fact that he took on Code without a problem and calls it an impressive feat. And he says that he doesn't even think that Kawaki could manage to do something like that, which very heavily implies that Boruto is in fact stronger than Kawaki is. And Boruto basically confirms this by responding by saying, "Let's stop this, Mitsuki. If we're talking about people that can't manage against me, you're the same as him. Fighting like this is meaningless." Now, it's unclear if he's referencing Kawaki or Code here, but in either case, he's saying Mitsuki is the same as both of them here, which, I mean, he does fight pretty much the same as Code does, so these guys are all in a similar level of power. Code might be the strongest between Code, Mitsuki, and Kawaki, just based off of what Mitsuki's saying, but at the end of the day, they all suck compared to Boruto. For whatever reason, he's just become insanely strong. Nobody knows why yet. Now, where things actually get interesting is when the fight ends. Boruto puts a sword to Mitsuki's neck, he undoes his sage mode, and he tells Boruto to do it. Don't hold back. Now, Boruto finally decides to be good at talk no jutsu again and says, "You've come to kill me with a resolve to die," or maybe it's more like self-abandonment, just pure desperation. Your conviction is wavering. What you believe in, no, what you want to believe in, you feel like it no longer holds truth. Kawaki, when did that sun that always illuminated you lose its shine? You've noticed, haven't you? Mitsuki is like, "What would you understand about any of this, Boruto? As a rebel who betrayed the village, you have no right to pretend like you know me." And Boruto says, "But I do know. At the very least, I know where your son is right now. I am your son.
I am your father."
There's no changing to that." As if to test those words, Mitsuki tries to attack Boruto with a snake wrapping around him and it goes to bite him, but then it stops. Mitsuki says, "That can't be. You're my son? Why are you saying such?" And Boruto cuts him off to say, "If it's not me, what's wrong with your snake? Why won't it attack me?" And Mitsuki says, "On the contrary, why aren't you trying to escape? You should have various methods at your disposal." And Boruto says, "You should have already noticed it yourself. Quite a while ago, actually. Kawaki ain't it. He isn't your son." And no freaking duh, Kawaki's been the biggest shithead in the entire world to everyone around him. All he does is be super moody and insult everyone and complain and this and that. It's like, oh my god, that dude is not the sun. He ain't even a moon. He's literally just pitch black darkness. So, Boruto's not wrong. Anyway, he says, "No matter how much you stay by his side, no matter how much you wish it was true, he can't make you shine. I get that it's confusing, but you of all people should understand. The only one who can decide who the sun really is, what the sun really means, is you, right, Mitsuki? Don't worry, I'm not planning to kill Kawaki. That's just a misunderstanding. But I do have to settle the score with him one of these days. As brothers, that's a problem for the two of us to handle alone." Mitsuki asks why he kills the 7th, and Boruto says, "The 7th is alive. He's safe. His wife is safe too. That's all I can say for now. Mitsuki, you were always able to shine on your own from the very beginning. I really believe that. But if you insist that you need a son no matter what, come visit me anytime." So like I said, if you compare the talk no jutsu here of Boruto and Mitsuki compared to Boruto and Code, it's a night and day difference. Boruto actually spoke to Mitsuki's heart and made actual logical sense. With Code, it was just like stupid. He just said, "Get rid of your army or else," like 50,000 times, as if that was going to work. Code thinks he's stronger. Code doesn't care about the world and the planet in the first place. None of Boruto's like threats or logical reasonings mattered to Code. It was horrible talk no jutsu. Whereas here it actually makes sense. Very nice to see. Now Shikamaru asks Boruto to head this way because they need to talk for obvious reasons, and Boruto explains that because of Eida's omnipotence, their memories were overwritten all in accordance with Kawaki's desire, and more importantly, no matter what, they're all going to forget about this eventually, because the truth is, this isn't the first time they've heard this explanation. Sarada and Sumire have already explained it. The very concept of omnipotence won't stay in their memory. Without fail, they'll forget everything in due time. That's the kind of ability it is. The fact that Kawaki and Boruto have been swapped, they have to believe it without any basis or logic to go on, which is actually a really important and interesting line that I'm going to come back to when it comes to a motto later on, but that's besides the point. Boruto says, "You managed to reach that conclusion on your own. That's not something the average Joe can accomplish. It's pretty impressive." Now technically Shikamaru didn't do that on his own, he actually had help from Amato, but Shikamaru asks how they fix it and Boruto says we can't. All of the overwritten memories are now perceived as real, and even if we did change them back, it wouldn't resolve his and Kawaki's problem. And I like hearing that from Boruto. It kind of ties back to his whole monologue at the end of chapter 80 about what exactly he wants to do. He wants to stop the brother killing brother scenario. He doesn't really care about the other stuff. He's essentially wants to save Kawaki from the darkness he's in. I like it. It goes on to explain, Kawaki sealed Dad. He sealed the 7th away in order to protect him, meaning that until he's satisfied, he's not going to let him out. No matter how you look at it, we'll just end up repeating the same pattern. Shikamaru says, instead of saving Naruto, prioritize killing Kawaki. If I were in your position, that's what I'd do. And Boruto says, he does want to kill me, but I'm different. I'll just sock him real good, and then we'll get along again. That's it. A lot like how Naruto would have reacted to the situation based off what he did with Sasuke. So what if Sasuke's trying to kill me? I'll just beat him up and bring him back to the village, and we'll be good. Boruto's basically thinking the exact same way. Shikamaru goes on to explain that if this is the case, then Boruto is going to have to continue being framed for the crime of killing Naruto, because Shikamaru wants to avoid cornering Kawaki again because that's literally how this all happened in the first place, so Boruto will have to continue being hunted down, and Boruto doesn't care. He said that's fine. I intended for it to be that way from the start. That's probably why Boruto was a little bit hesitant to just out Kawaki immediately. He doesn't really want Kawaki to be cornered, and frankly it wouldn't work anyway because of omnipotence right now. And then the chapter ends in an interesting way here, as Jura says, it's rather strange, this world that is. No matter how much my knowledge increases, these new doubts well up within me, and the things I don't understand continue to multiply. It's as if knowledge as a concept is self-aware. Your own ignorance is rather amusing. By the way, I've been itching to say this, no matter what book I read, there's no answers to any of my questions about this doubt. Shall we go then to where Naruto Uzumaki is? And beyond the fact that this means that Jura and the other Claw Grind Divine Tree people are now going to hunt down Naruto, I like how this ties into what Damon mentioned in the previous chapter. If these guys go to look for Naruto, won't that expose the lie Kawaki told? Now Boruto already told Shikamaru about it, but like he said, they're just going to forget. But they're going to be reminded again when Jura goes after Naruto, and depending on exactly how he goes about it, he might just end up bringing Naruto right to the Leaf Village if he like summons him back or something like that. And Naruto's just going to be in plain sight at that point, and it doesn't really matter at that point what omnipotence says. They're going to see Naruto in front of them, and they're going to have to believe that Naruto is alive because he will literally be right in front of them. So there's a pretty solid chance that Jura is going to end up just exposing Kawaki without even intending to, which I think is great. Kawaki's causing his own downfall, and I love it. Now, something I want to come back to that I kind of forgot to mention earlier is the whole omnipotence memory erasing thing. Honestly speaking, that's probably the best way they could have approached the omnipotence situation here, because otherwise it's like there was always something stupid in regards to the characters one way or another. I was ready to make a whole Shikamaru rant because of it. However, rather than this whole just doubt removal thing, they're literally forgetting it entirely. And so it makes it a little bit more forgivable because Boruto's basically saying, Shikamaru, you already figured this out. You just forgot. And you've been doing this over and over again. And then it kind of brings us back to what Sarada says in chapter 1. Shikamaru was hounding Kawaki about all the weird stuff like Mabushiki being gone and his karma seal and blah 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 blah. He just forgot. So who knows how many times he's been through it. He literally just forgot. who knows how many times Mitsuki realized that Kawaki isn't his son, but then just forgot. Like, for all we know, this has happened like 100 times. And it's a little bit more forgivable because they're not being stupid. They're literally just forgetting and then being smart again and figuring it out again, and then forgetting and being smart again and figuring it out again. So, you know, it's a little bit more forgivable in this case for Shikamaru. If he's literally just figured it out 50 times, okay, he's still being smart at least. He's not being stupid. So it's a little bit more forgivable. As for Amato, though, that's where things get really interesting. And again, I want to come back to that for a future video. Overall, I thought this was a pretty interesting chapter. I like it. It's, I wouldn't say crazy, but it was enjoyable. I like everything that was revealed. Obviously, I would have wanted Mitsuki to do better in the fight, but you know what? I'll take the fact that he did at least as good as Coke did. That means Mitsuki's strong. I want to know why Boruto is so OP though, and one day hopefully we'll figure that out. But I want to hear what you guys think. What do you think about the whole memory eraser aspect of omnipotence versus just doubt removal? They literally forget stuff. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about Jura hunting down Naruto? How do you feel about the whole Boruto and Mitsuki conversation about how Kawaki isn't his son and instead he's a poo-poo head, not a bright figure? And how do you feel about Boruto being OP? Let me know in the comment section below, but that's a wrap on today's video, so thank you guys for watching until the end.
You're already under my genjutsu.
Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, like the video, check out my podcast channel, check out Peak Fiction, become a member, and hit the bell icon for notifications.
Sorry, Sasuke. Maybe some other time.
Have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.